Hello, people. I am a little bit tired right now, I'm not gonna lie. Otherwise, today's been a great day. I'm literally just tired. Nothing is wrong. Life is great. I am probably gonna take a nap after this. Then I have some place to be. I might take myself out to dinner today and get some good food instead of eating in. It's gotten cloudy. It was sunny earlier, now it's like cloudy. I hope it's not gonna rain. But if it does, oh well. I'm just going to jump right into a poem today instead of talking about a bunch of stuff that doesn't matter. But yeah, how has everybody else's day been? Tell me what you did in the morning, like if you ate some oatmeal or some eggs, the little stuff like that. I would love to hear about it. And tell me if it was good. I am hungry, so I would love to live vicariously through you. Look at my handwriting. It's backwards, but my handwriting has gotten a lot better. I was practicing cursive sometime like at the beginning of this year, really. I've always been trash at cursive, but that's only because I didn't practice. But I caught on very quickly, and like a week later after first trying, it got like this. And again, it's backwards, but if you just like, I don't know, flip your camera, I think this looks pretty decent from where I was. I was in the trenches. This is a poem that I wrote on May 9th, and I was on the plane back home from my work trip, and I was watching this man who was just a very handsome man at his age. He looked like he was in his 50s, and that's not me saying he was handsome for his age. You can be beautiful at any time, and I like to see beauty over claiming that someone is ugly. That's just stupid. And just because you get older doesn't mean that you get any uglier. You're just getting older, and that's life, and that's beautiful. There's beauty in that too. But anyways, I was admiring his beauty just from my chair because I like to stare at people. He was just very handsome. He was redheaded and very fit, and I was like, good for him. But I'm not gonna lie, I think I was like watching his arm, like I don't know, his wrist, or I don't know why I was watching his wrist, but I just scaled up his arm with my eyes, and then I saw that he was wearing a Blue Lives Matter shirt. And that almost like kind of took over my mind, if I'm being quite honest. And in that moment, I was thinking about the things that we allow to shut us away from admiring people for good reason, because we know what police have been doing to many people, but especially young black men and women in this country forever, since its conception. I mean, the police force is not new. It just evolved from slavery. That's literally what it was. People, those slave catchers, catching escaped enslaved African people who were running for their life to try and get to a better place, and they would be the people to snatch them back and bring them back to the plantation. That's literally just the evolution of the police force. So people who question why, not just black folks, but there's a lot of people in this country who do not trust the police, and you can't blame them because of what has happened over time, all the brutality that we constantly scream about to try and end. And unfortunately, and I'm very honest about my views on this channel, who we have in office, Trump, is not helping with that. He's trying to give immunity to officers who potentially kill people. It just shows you what this country values and what it has always valued since its conception, after colonization, through colonization, all of it. What I'm getting at is I was watching him, just admiring his humanity, and then I saw that shirt and it immediately put like a bad taste in my mouth, because it's like, everybody has the right to wear what they wear, whatever, but I don't associate that with a good thing, because it's just not. And saying Blue Lives Matter in response to Black Lives Matter, we know. It's like people saying all lives matter in response to Black Lives Matter. Like, we know. We know. But all lives can't matter until Black Lives Matter. And even like saying these phrases, like I'm so sick of saying them at this point because they're so repetitive. And anytime we have to repeat something so much, it pisses me off, because I'm like, why do we have to keep on screaming about this? Why do we keep on having to talk to y'all about someone's humanity? This is a human. Like, I've talked about how racism is pathetic. It is. It's ridiculous. It does nothing for anybody but take from everyone. And so allowing yourself to be so hateful just because you can, do you not see that you're missing out as well? You're missing out on joy. You're missing out on peace of mind, on just existing in this world and learning how to love instead of be ugly towards other people. It's just ridiculous. And so having to shout for all these things, for harmony amidst all groups of people in all lands, in all nations, it gets exhausting. Unless I'm not saying that we need to stop. We absolutely need to keep going, but the redundancy, it annoys me because I don't want to have to keep saying the same thing over and over again. And I know a lot of people are right there with me. I wrote the poem separating myself from my emotions. Hold on, my earring got caught. I do that a lot so that I can actually understand what I'm trying to write about and write with a clear mind instead of with frustration. Even though you can get something from that too, I don't like to do that. I like to, even when I truly feel strongly about a certain situation, I think I get more out of writing when I separate myself from how I feel and I look at it more rationally rather than radically. I don't know where I was going with that thought, but I'm going to read it. There's no title, and it again was written on May 9th while I was on the plane. Blue stripe. That's all it takes, I guess, to make me forget someone's humanity. I watched him take a swig of his Diet Cola, admiring the daylight to our right, attentive, alert. I analyzed his handsome face, nearly 50 years, and his strong arms. Good for him, I think. Until I see that blue stripe, posted in the flag 3 rows from below. I fight the tether at each cheek to keep smiling. What is there to frown about, I think? It's just a stripe. He's still drinking cola and admiring the sun, as we all do. He's still human. But that damn stripe, it took that away, as it had the lives of millions of young melanated bodies, my kin. They don't get to enjoy their favorite drink, or feel the sun rise and set upon their face. They don't earn a stripe on a t-shirt as they walk free and unburdened by their sins. I fight the tether at the corner of my eyes to keep them from dying inside, to keep the light there, despite the darkness in my mind. That damn stripe is just that, a stripe, created by closed minds, suffocated by dark thoughts, planted in false words, fed on a platter of lies by the same system that toys with all our lives. I fight back first by denying the tether in my mind a permanent residency, and these thoughts a resting place. I smile instead. I smile still, behind my clouded judgment, to remind myself the judgment isn't mine. It belongs with the fears I have cast away to enjoy this one life I have, and the beautiful people who've come with it, because there are many more than the few demons we've been made to believe hold dominion of our hearts. And then I have a quote below where I say, a little bit morbidly, then I remember the world we live in, the man in office, and the evil that doesn't pause for joy, and I let the judgments breathe. I didn't really believe that when I wrote it, but I felt like I needed to write it anyway as someone who may feel that way. Because I can understand that too. Someone who recognizes all of this, but still understands that that person is operating with a closed mindset and a system built to support them and not melanated peoples. Thus, allowing themselves to also hold their judgments too. I can understand that. But when I wrote this quote, I didn't fully agree with it myself because I don't want to let my head be clouded by the judgments. I would be just like the people that I'm fighting against. What I mean when I say fighting, I fight in many different ways, but first by being joyful myself, by doing what I love because I can and because I always will. And thank goodness I am able to do that. Because again, there's so many people in this world who can't even do what they love. And so that, like, I find that to be a little revolution in its own. My mom posted something on her social media, on one of her stories, that said, fighting against racism also looks like raising your black children to no joy. I read that and I almost cried because it was just very true. And thank goodness my parents raised me and my siblings to know joy and to be ourselves and to know creativity. And they fostered that and fed that. All of us are very individual, but we've never been made to feel like that was an issue. And this is kind of a tangent, but it kind of just wraps back into the whole reason why I don't allow myself to get so lost in my frustrations concerning racism and hatred of all forms. I know what I don't accept. I know that what I will never accept. And the way that I move through that is by living freely and happily and not letting someone diminish me, because I know myself. I know who I am, and there's just no way that someone who doesn't know me is going to tell me about myself, because how would you know? You don't even know who I am. Trying to destroy me by picking apart my race, even though we're all one race, the color of my skin, in a way that dehumanizes me, it only says something about yourself. It doesn't say anything about me. It shows how you would take time out of your day, out of your existence, out of your energy to make sure that someone else feels as sickly inside as you do inside yourself. That's how I see that. I've been called the N-word a few times, and as a child, by adults, mind you. People are freaking sick out here, as we already know. But it's like, I was a child, and I was called the N-word, and it felt awful, of course. I felt like something broke inside me every single time that happened, because I just didn't understand what it was like to be fed poison by others. I always gave medicine, I felt, to people in just the form of kindness. And to receive that disgustingness from someone else at such a young age, I was just so confused. Oh, this is dying. Hold on, I might have to switch these real quick.